me see. So, hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. And just a minute, I'm doing some last minute moving stuff around. My helper moved the position of the table that's beside here, and I couldn't get it over far enough. Maria Graham, thank you for coming and welcome. Thank you, Dolores. I see that you came by. She's in a meeting, Dolores is, and she will return. She will return. So I hope you guys are having a good day. Crafty Leo, how you doing? Thanks for coming and welcome. Oh Lordy, I was rushing so much. I'm sweating. I don't know. Oh, here's my glasses, Maria. They're right here. I didn't have time to clean them, and they have the blue blockers on, so they're not reading glasses anyway. My reading glasses are all Dollar Tree glasses. Why? Because all the good ones I have on my bed trying to type and chat with y'all at night, and I roll over on them and break them. That's why. Oh, my good ones. So there you are, kind of smeary, but we're here. Thank you. Maria Graham notices everything. She notices when my stove is on. She looks out for her big sister. I appreciate all of you. For those of you who are here on a replay, I want to thank you. In the bushes, again, thanks. I know it's 4 o'clock on the East Coast, earlier on the West Coast. Folks have to work. You better be working as long as you can. Things about to get crazy around here. Gonna get crazy. Also, I want to particularly thank the moderators and those of you who are special members of the Friends and Family Club, which helps the channel, helps me create content, helps me purchase things that I need to do, and most of all, help me with postage. Mike's got a repairman coming. He might be in the bushes. Hello, Mother. Mom Clara, Pankey. So I'm looking around. I have so much stuff to show you. I changed at the last minute, and I wanted to tell you guys, my channel is so that I can remember things. I can leave things for my children, grandchildren, great grandchildren to one day look at when I'm gone. After all, got to keep it real. I am 76 years old. Mom Pankey. As a matter of fact, I haven't slept well this week. One of my very dear friends, her two daughters and her brother's two daughters have been my adopted like niece daughters since my children were little. Two of the girls' birthday are around my daughter's birthday, which is in 2 weeks, and around the same year. And two of the younger daughters are the same age as my son. So they all grew up together, birthday parties together, everything. But anyway, I think Sunday night their mother passed. She was 90, and she was a very dear friend. So I guess my girls are going to be stuck with me. Both of their biological parents are gone. It's one sister with two daughters and a brother with two daughters. And they come by here, spend the night. We cuddle up, like the old time camping. When I say cuddle up, I have two beds, a sofa, and a blow up mattress. And you'll be watching me when I'm 96. I'll be bugging. PIA. Thanks for coming. You're listening and driving. I'm glad you turned your dye off. PIA, you guys, was busy dyeing fabric with natural juices. For those of you who don't know, you can and in fact, some of the fabrics that I buy, the reason they are so expensive, they're from other countries or even this country, and they are organic, meaning they're not chemicals using. PIA is saying hello to everyone. They don't use commercial dyes. They use the traditional trees and barks and things they use in the village. I myself use a lot of traditional things. For those of you who don't know, you can buy unbleached muslin. You can buy Kona, Kona, which is a 100% really good cotton. Hey, awkward quote to Lisa. I know where you are. Thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. And you can dye fabrics with onion skins. You can take like nails and pieces of iron and put them on fabric, spray them with lemon juice. People are saying, "Hi, awkward quilter." She's not awkward. She can quilt her butt off. She can sew her butt off. She's real good at electronics too. I see you. I see you, Lisa. I'm always in the bushes because I'm always working. When I say working, not on a job, not on a job. That's too much like right, but doing something around here. I posted a video. I'm going to try to get my iPad open, and because my phone always goes down, and show you a couple of photos. My dear friend who passed, her name was Barbara. Her daughters, she paid for writing lessons, the most expensive writing lessons for at least one daughter, and her daughter wrote English. I missed a phone call from my baby brother a little before now because I was busy getting things ready. Hola, hermana. Oh, you must be so tired. I was in the bushes when, and I went out while you were live. Yankee Sister was live for 3 hours today, you guys. So I think, uh, I hate this thing. So I don't want Google Photos. I want iCloud Photos. So I was telling you about my baby brother. So one of the daughters, and that says Google Photos again, huh? One of the daughters stole my car. They were teenagers and they stole my car. Not only did they steal it, they went to the they went to the stables. Like I said, one of the girls rode and was in amateur competitions and whatnot. Oh, the heck with this iPad. I'll try something else. And she used to ride English, with the horses you see in the Olympics and stuff, jumping over the fences and doing the hurdles and stuff. I ride. Device added to my account. Okay, whatever, whatever. When you have several devices, they're supposed to be linked to each other. You're on all these different programs. I ride horses. I ride as well, but I ride Western. Some of my horses, when I used to show them, I showed them. I want to see all photos. Maybe I didn't back this thing up. Oh no, here's one. I don't know if you can see it, but the friend still owns the same stable. It's near one of the racetracks in Washington D.C. That's why I moved back. Why we bought the property in North Carolina originally, because we had a couple of horses that were given to us for a wedding present for my second husband, and it was cheaper to board them in North Carolina than in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and the DMV. So one of the people that worked for me had property down there, and we went down there. and we ended up buying 4 acres, leasing about another 25 for the horses, and then another 6 for a little business we had. So I've been busy this week. I want to show you a couple of posts that I made. No, that's a video. So Auntie Joanne has been harvesting oranges and lemons at her house. She's probably at a doctor's appointment in Arizona today. Oh, PIA said, "Oh, don't back that thing up." You all are so funny. I never show certain parts of my body. I always have a long t-shirt that comes down to my knees. Baby, I was after them chocolate chip cookies. Everything was showing. Everything was showing. My son and my daughter would make me take that video down. Ma, showing your behind. Ma, you're too old for that. Ma. PIA is saying, hello, Mike Crafty. She hears me talking to you all, and she's driving. Be safe. Be safe. Oh, you're at a red light. Okay, thank you. She said, forgive this dumb phone. You're talking to it. I know. That's what I was just talking to my phone. I wanted to show you. Let me slow down. I'm so excited. I wanted to show you on my iPad, because I thought it would be bigger. But you can see these. So those oranges were from Auntie Joanne. And this photo, Mother, I didn't show your face. That shows my mother. Sissy, I'm just showing the oranges from your tree. And Joanne sent a big box to Connecticut. Mommy's so excited. My mother loves fruit. Look at those big old oranges and lemons, you guys. So I'm I'm working what I can do. As one of the elder content creators on YouTube, I do what I can do when I can do it. And at least those cookies were good. Mona sifting some soil went live on Sunday. She's not in here today, at least not yet, or she may be listening. And I baked those cookies Saturday night. Well, Mona got on her live, and she chews real cute, like making cute little lips and whatnot. So, people, Sissy Joanne Stevens, welcome. Welcome, all of you. And they're like, Mona, what are you eating? And they're like, Chow, Auntie Ellen made these cookies. So I will be doing a repeat on the cookies, and I will write down the recipe neater. I will do a redo, and I will do it in my cast iron skillet live, and I will put the correct ingredients in. I'll tell you what, it'll be a redo. And there is like an old school baking challenge. It's an open challenge. I have to get the hashtag and redo it. Joanne doesn't make the lemon curd. Auntie Ellen makes the lemon curd and the 3 ingredient lemon pie and most of the baking and stuff. Auntie Joanne cooks. I'm the baker. I'm the baker, and I will be there in. Oh, I also make limoncello, which is an alcoholic drink. You ferment some lemons. Something else I haven't made for a long time, is marmalade with the lemon peels, orange peels, and grapefruit peels. Oh, my sister Joanne Stevens said she just finished making the last of the OJ. All the oranges are gone, but her trees, you guys, are really too big. But it's in a narrow space, and by letting them grow above the rooftop, they can spread out above the concrete wall around the property. And her trees are more than 2 stories high. Maria Joanne Stevens is saying, no, she doesn't make it. She probably should try. Okay, my sister, my little sister. So, what else have I been? Oh, I was showing you, for those of you who are new, GQUAT stands for, why isn't this showing up? Let me see. Sometimes the way I set this, you can see my name. Sometimes you can't. I see that you cannot see it right now, but it stands for Garden Quilt and Art Show. I thought I heard a voice. No, I did not. Nothing is supposed to be on. Garden Quilt and Art Show, and we garden. The traditionally, I've been alive for 8 generations. There are 6 living generations now, and we've been cooking all the years. I've been cooking almost 60 years because I've been married that long. I was married at 19. More than 76. So, 76 minus 20, that's 56 years right there. So I've been cooking, canning, making wine. Some of these books, oh, I was going to show you guys some of them. Actually, I will stand up and do it. Nikki, The Everyday Life of an OCD. I'm not backing that thing up, PIA, but I'm turning around because I just want to grab like a handful of books. Excuse me, you guys. I'm trying to do it without falling because the books that I have left here, I donated 11 bookcases of books. Katie, Greenland Quilter, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. So these books are part of my collection of Black history books, and they're all hardcover. I have I have about 30 or 40, but most of the books that I did keep for my personal library. Um, Katie's saying she's wishing everyone a glorious Thanksgiving evening. So most of the books I have left are business due diligence books. Some of you know that I'm a retired management consultant. I used to work for banks and multinational corporations, Fortune 500 companies, keeping their minute books, things like that. So I don't talk about that stuff anymore. I don't talk about anything that's the real brain work that I had to do for all those years. But some of the books in my collection, I just wanted to show you guys, and I'm saving them because hard copy books are hard to find. These were a special collection. I bought one by one by one, and like I just grabbed a handful, as you see. This one is about Dizzy Gillespie. As you see, he was a trumpeter, a jazz musician, I think from the New Orleans era. This one happens to be about Martin Luther King Jr. The next one is Harriet Tubman, who was the conductor of the Underground Railroad, and she led a lot of former slaves to freedom. She's actually buried in upstate New York, not too far from here. And her birthday is the same as my daughter, March 10th. That's how I remember this one. Nkrumah, I don't know what happened to this book. Now, this one is funny. Looks like one of the kids got hold of it and scratched it up. But it is what it is. It says past and present. He was a gentleman from Africa that came to the United States to be educated, went back to Africa and became the president of an African country. I think, if I recollect correctly, it was Nigeria or Ghana, one of those countries. And this is Josephine Baker. This is one of my sister Joanne Stevens' favorite entertainers over the years, who left the United States because of racism and went to France to live, became the toast of Paris, adopted a bunch of children, and Auntie Joanne made a beautiful, beautiful needlepoint, petty point pillow with Josephine Baker on there. And hello, Donzel Cooper. Thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. So that's what I wanted to, since I hadn't talked about Black History Month, haven't talked about all these books you see behind me. I've actually taken some of the quotes down so you can see a few more of them. Books to the left of me, books to the right of me, books standing row on row. And yes, for those of you who want to know, I have read all of them and many, many more. Butterroll Boutique, thank you for coming. Um, and I want to say I love those journals that you're making. Those journals are absolutely stunning. My sister Joanne Stevens does a lot of art journaling, sketching, and things like that. Maybe she'll stop being shy and come up and let me show some of her work once again. My sister's studios are interesting because she does glass. She makes her own paper. She does a lot of things with paper, and she has an amazing art collection. Oh, you love Black History Month? Thank you, Katie, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Katie, Greenland Katie, you guys, is from the United States. She's married to a Greenlander. He does Legos, and she sews. She does geographic visits to different parts of Greenland, and it's really, really interesting. I watch all of your channels. Nikki is planting, 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 showing off because she got all those leaves up out of her yard, and she's planting in every kind of bottle she could find around the house. I've got mine over there. My helper was out for 2 weeks, sick, and she came back. She was putting stuff away. She organized all this stuff I have around my chair. Speaking of sickness, I want to show you guys. I'm looking around to see what to show you next. So, one of the things I want to show you about overall health, and it's kind of old school. It's kind of old school. And we mentioned it in one of my former lives, and it was about a neti pot. Well, I didn't tell my family, but I actually, okay, bye, Katie. Talk to you later. See ya. And you're welcome, Katie. And the old school, they didn't have all of the drugs and stuff they have now, which you can become immune to as far as your your body being able to overcome and fight things. Donzel Cooper saying, hello, Mike and Butterroll Boutique. And Nikki saying, take care, Katie. Bye bye. Donzel speaking to Yankee's sister. So we had natural things growing up. And I want to show you one of the things that I do. I had stopped doing my stuff, my natural stuff. And when I started off as a cold and a sinus infection, but it got worse, and I waited too late to do anything about it. I figured I've had a flu shot. I've had the shots, the vaccines. Whether you believe in vaccines or not, this is not a discussion on it. This is me wearing my big girls and what I do for me, because I know that I have asthma, and I know that I have bronchitis, and I know that I can't be around a lot of things, because my body, my age, and some of the things I've been through, my body is tired of fighting. My body just can only fight a certain amount. So some of you have heard about fermented garlic. So I want to show you my fermented garlic and honey. And here it is. I've shown some of you before. I'm holding it close so you can see it. I now keep it in the refrigerator because I wanted it to stop fermenting. And a Yankee sister said she's still listening in the bushes. I appreciate you, sis, hermana. And this is honey, not molasses. This is garlic, fresh garlic from my garden. Here in Connecticut, we grow hardneck garlic. It has a hard stem in it. It doesn't get as big as like elephant garlic or as many. I had a garlic harvest out here in my community garden, and I this is over a year of fermentation. I started last year, and then I took it down. I kept it in a dark cabinet, and the honey got darker and darker and darker and darker. I also took large amounts of vitamin C, but I ran out, and I didn't have an aide at all for a while, and I didn't have anybody like to take me all over the place. So to go to Costco, and the handicap bus takes so long to go way over there and back. So I ran out of my vitamin C. So my immune system was gradually breaking down, gradually breaking down. Thank you, Maria Graham says the fermented garlic looks good. But when I was sick and I was taking antibiotics first, some one type of antibacterial. Some of you, I don't know how many of you are Catholic, but the Pope has been in the hospital for several days. He is a bit older than me. As you age, your body is not capable of fighting everything. You know, it has certain fights that it's fighting, some of the things that you guys don't even know about. Um, you know, no matter what war you're in, what battle you're not, what war you're in, you're not going to win every single battle. So back in the day, they had something when I was growing up called a neti pot. I didn't have a neti pot out here when I told you guys about it, but this is what it looks like. It looks like a teapot, right? And you take the top off. And I had an, a naturalist doctor from another country, and one day years ago, she told me she doesn't buy those little inserts that you put in it. Another way of irrigating your nostrils and rinsing them out. Frugal Mama, thanks for coming and welcome. And you guys check with your own doctors, check with the hoopty hoops. But these are some of the natural ways to fight infection and bacteria. So this is a new kind of neti pot. It's actually a squeeze bottle, and you irrigate your nose. But what you put in it, this doctor from another country who says this is what she personally uses, and I have been using it for the better part of 15, 20 years. I hadn't had a cold in 3 years until like about Christmas time. You take a quarter teaspoon of baking soda and a quarter teaspoon of organic salt. It could be sea salt or it could be kosher salt, but not the stuff with an iodine, not none of that stuff. And you take it, you put warm water in, as warm as you can stand it, and you lean your head over the sink, and you put I'll show you this way. You put the little spigot on one side of your nostril, and depending on how much blockage you have in your sinus, in your head, excuse me, after about something must be clearing out, holding my head to the side. After a while, the water will come out the opposite nostril. Then you gently blow your nose. Then you take the teapot and you use the other nostril, and you use the other one. So I do that 2 or 3 times. And Mike says he uses powdered neti pots. I don't know what's powdered. I put powder inside the water in mine, but I don't know how you use a dry one. Maybe you can explain it in the chat and let us all know. So these are the ones that I use, and I wanted to show you some of the natural things. I saw somebody on a channel today, and I watch everything, I read everything, and this person had a cold, so they took an oregano leaf. I have dried oregano, thyme, parsley, oranges, lemons. I gave the last of my dehydrated ginger to one of my niece daughters that I told you about. Mike's saying power. Oh, power. Navage. Okay. They also they you can use whatever you like, but just try to use organic things and things that you have within your own power. Things that if the drugstore is out of it or the drugstore has a shutdown, things that you can control yourself. And years ago, before all the modern pharmacies started making billions and trillions of dollars on our insurances, and well, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. But yeah, yeah, a lot of the things that we take to fix one thing messes with something else. Like I have neuropathy and I get tingling, pains in my legs, whatnot. And they give you a medicine to help control that. That's part of the reasons. Oh, Mike says it it's battery powered. It pumps the water through. Oh, so no head tilting. Well, you don't tilt your head a lot. I was just doing it a lot because that's the only way I could see you out of my good eye. So, hey Nancy, our church at home. Thanks for coming, and welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys, there is a worldwide drought. I don't know how much of you believe in global warming, but a lot of the things that we eat that we use daily, like your morning cup of joe, cup of coffee, because of global warming, the coffee beans are not growing. Coffee is grown in the mountains, for those of you who do not know. I have a brother in law that has a coffee farm in Tanzania, or Tanzania, as we call it. I just saw somebody coming. Deborah Garrett, thanks for coming and welcome. And she's saying hi to everybody. And several of the villagers in Tanzania have a co-op now, and they pick the beans there. And they send them back to the United States for roasting. A lot of countries do. The cocoa, the cocoa that's grown around the world. There's a severe drought. There is a severe worldwide shortage of cocoa. Those of you who bake or use flour, the Ukraine and Russia export 30% of the world's wheat to countries like the United States and everywhere. We grow a little bit in the United States. Guess what? They've been at war with each other for 3 years, and there's only a limited amount of wheat being grown. You can buy your own wheat berries. Some of the channels, like Growing with Hudson, buys her own wheat berries. I think, who did I just say? Our treasured home does. Bouger has been a member for 8 months, VIP level. Thank you so much. I woke up, I have an alert to make sure that I take the meds that I really need to take, and it rings at 8 o'clock at night to make sure that I at least took some of my meds. So last night after 8 o'clock, I went to see Nikki and Hands in the Dirt on Wine Down Wednesday. Didn't have any wine, just some water, but that was all I had. After that, I called Bouger Prepper while I was on somebody else's bushes and they were live, and she talked about some cornbread. Well, she she expressed what happened with one batch of something she had, and of course she told her auntie, her tia, she's my sobrina, and I told her what to do to fix it. To fix it, I've been making cornbread at least 60 years, because one time when times were hard, I I was between jobs. I got laid off something. I was in LA, and I went to a food bank, and the food bank gave me some cornbread, cornmeal, and some flour. Well, I make a big pot of soup every week, a big pot of beans, and I lived at Venice Beach. So everybody in the family, all my friends, my sewing friends, my church friends, family, they would ride by Pacific Coast Highway, see my door open, and come in. I'd have homemade wine, everything. And I started making this cornbread. That's all they wanted after that. They wanted cornbread, sometimes biscuits, but always cornbread. Auntie Joanne and Uncle Roscoe like like cake cornbread, I call it. And the difference is you make it with stone ground flour, the fine grain flour. I mean fine grain cornmeal or the coarse grain. Most of us grew up with the Quaker oatmeal and Quaker grits and Quaker cornmeal. That's kind of coarse, but they have some that's really fine. They have some that already has the baking powder or baking soda in it. So do whatever floats your boat. But if you make it with the finer you make it, the more like cake it is. The coarser it is, the more like the hoe cakes or the Johnny cakes that they used to make back in the day. Mike said, cakey, cakey. Well, everybody in my family is supposed to be watching their sugar intake. So we're only allowed to bake for certain occasions. And you know what? That's another thing, talking about diabetes and other stuff, health ailments. We didn't have dessert every night when we were growing up. We had dessert on Sunday. So like Sunday dinner, mommy would make a peach cobbler or bake a cake or something. But dessert, sweets was not a daily thing. We didn't have a candy bar every day. That was just something. My glasses are smeary, y'all. And no, we didn't eat. We had natural sugar in our fruits. There was always fruit, always veggies from the garden. We didn't grow a whole lot of fruit in Connecticut, but my parents could find where to get peaches. We would get peaches when we went on vacation down south. Oh my goodness. My mother makes slap yo mama peach cobbler. And she makes her crust from scratch, like in seconds. Like I reach up in the cabinet and grab stuff. That's what mommy does. And she she said the other way is like eating rocks. I know it is, Mike. And she rolls it out. Well, I have to tell you guys a funny story. Mommy got married when she was 17 and daddy was 21. So I'm like, Mom, and she had six children by the time she was 27. I'm like, Mom, I don't know how you and daddy made it. How did you take care of all these kids, all the other excuse me, family members? Everybody always ate at our house. Our house was always the place you stop by for dinner, especially Sunday dinner. Your wife likes crumbly cornbread with no sugar. You can make it either way. However, whatever you like, whatever you like. Joanne says the best peach cobbler in town. And mommy would peel the peaches. She would take the peach skins and make peach jelly. We didn't throw food away. We would make the apples. We mommy make apple jelly. We would go some that my dad had a painting and trucking business, and sometimes there would be crab apples. Well, you don't eat crab apples. The people that own the houses were happy to have all those kids and the painter's wife and helpers picking those crab apples and getting them off the trees to get rid of insects. Maria Graham says, my mom made cake cornbread. It had a sweet taste to it, delicious. Yes, it was like you buy the Jiffy cornbread mix. Then it has a lot of sugar in it, the Jiffy does. Then people say, oh, I don't put sugar in mine. No, you're using the box mix. You ain't got no reason to. Sorry about my grandmama. Excuse me, mother. My lip slipped. So make it how you like it. Make it how you like it. It's funny. My helper, we have coffee in the morning. She doesn't take anything in hers. Maybe a little bit of milk. I put a little bit of carnation milk in mine, which is concentrated. She says, Mrs. Helen, you can use 1%. I don't want 1%. I don't want no fat milk. I want what I want in mine. I want carnation milk. I don't drink milk by the glassful anymore. I used to use when my kids were young and with all the people. in the family that came to eat when I was young and married, I used to use 1 or 2 gallons of milk a day, a day, a day. So I put this in my coffee and then I use stevia. I have run out of my homegrown stevia. Stevia is kind of hard to grow, you guys. It's a very tiny seed. I tried for years before I got it together. Then finally I read the directions on the back of seeds and it said sow on top of the soil. Do yours your way. This is not how to grow stevia worldwide. This is how I am successful growing my stevia. And I use potting mix and I just sprinkle the stevia on top, pat it a little bit with my fingers, water it in, and put it on a heat mat. Later on, when it gets warm in the summer, I put it outside and it gets thick. It gets really big. Lady Cheryl's the one that I think sent me some stevia seeds at first. Then I started buying it. You like your coffee to taste like the old candies? That's okay. You like fresh ground coffee? Nothing added. I like fresh ground coffee too, Darthex. But when we sold the house at my North Carolina property, the last one, my coffee grinder was on the counter, my stand mixer, that was all sold as is. So you're going to try it from seed? Well, you can try it whatever way you want to, but I guarantee you, Darth X, if you do it the way I finally figured out how to do it in the Northeast, that's how you get it to grow. That's how Yankee's sister got hers to grow too. One time I got some seeds started for both of us. Sometimes she starts stuff, sometimes I start stuff. And oh, I gotta show you guys some more pictures. Let me show you some more pictures from this week. So I cooked, my helper and I cooked. So hold on, where am I looking? I'm looking in the wrong place for my photos, and I posted a picture uh, in shorts, right? And then some people ask me, "Well, how are you? Are you harvesting already?" Y'all didn't see the one from 2 days ago when I was out there walking, tipping across the ice that's still in the park that was underneath the snow. There's still a 6 foot pile of snow in the parking lot, but my garden is still frozen. The ground is still frozen, but but I my garlic is coming up. The garlic I have now is already preserved. It's in honey. I have some in the refrigerator. It's in extra virgin olive oil, and I just kept it in a refrigerated because I found out that if you put it in regular EVOO, that it will kind of like rot. So at some point, you have to stop it from fermenting and put it in the refrigerator. I make my own tomato sauce. The rice and beans I had in there, the rice and beans I had in there were from sauce that I had canned. Cancel, 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 cancel. And like I said, Auntie Joanne, and we grow in different parts of the country, and I'm looking down, and we share with each other. So let me show you. For those of you, I showed you Dolores's quilt because it's in the mail. She should get it NT any day. So these were the chocolate chip cookies. They're free formed. You don't need any mixer. You don't need your fancy KitchenAid. You don't need a fancy attachment. All you need is a fork, a spoon. In fact, you're not supposed to use a beater. You're supposed to get the butter at room temperatures, just a couple of things you put in, and it is so good. Your crocuses are up already, and your snowdrops, to beat them to bloom. It's like a race to see what will bloom next. Mother, I'm coming to your house on Sunday. Because we've had some warm days, Mommy was actually able to sit out on her porch yesterday. She was actually able to go outside and sit on the porch. It's been crazy cold in Connecticut, you guys. And my mom has a big wraparound captain's porch, one of those big wide porches that the whole family and some neighbors can sit on Sunday after dinner and sit and jaw jab and talk about the week. And okay, so those were the pictures of the cookies, but I have something else I want to show you guys. So I posted this picture, and these are chicken breast, like little slider burgers, but they were sauteed in panko. The middle section is red beans and rice, and my helper put it in a little cone so that it was all up high on the plate. Oh, there's a good picture. And it looked delicioso. And the salad had arugula, beet greens, mustard, not yeah, some mustard, some turnip, some butter crunch. And then somebody said, "Well, are you?" No, why is it so clear now? Are you got that already? No, from harvesting, and I grow inside and outside. If you guys grow hydroponically, you'll be eating your lettuce in 6 weeks. Maria Graham's daffodil to have blooms. Oh, how nice! I have some daffodil bulbs planted in a an old tire that was in my community garden when I got it, and I planted the bulbs. Well, they paid some workmen to clean up the leaves and stuff. Somebody stole my daffodils, stole them. That's okay. One monkey don't stop to show. I will plant some more. My garlic that I planted last fall is starting to come up. I planted it late, and we had a really cold fall, so I should have a lot of garlic. I'm going to go over and put some stakes in my raised bed there, and put some animal netting, like some deer netting over it, and try to keep the people who go and ravage other people's community garden. I do it because I like it. I do it to show you guys. And I do it because it's fun. It's making you hungry, Maria Graham. Maria Graham. Oh, Bouget, don't go away. Don't go away. Because I want you to make some more stuff. And we were just having a good old time talking about cooking. Who would steal flowers? People would steal the teeth out your mouth if you opened it wide enough. Why would people steal flowers? Why don't you put that out there? Ask people, why would they steal flowers? I have had, as a matter of fact, people steal so much. People think it's because a community garden that anybody can go by and take it. A community garden is for the people who rent the space and but use their own money to raise food for their family so they can have stuff organically. Those of you who have been following my channel for a while over the years, I've had lots of stuff stolen from my garden. The people that rent the garden out even put a sign out there that says, "Do not take anything excuse me, from this garden. If you didn't plant it, don't harvest anything without asking. I will feed you, I will share with you, but baby, don't take my stuff." So that was what I was cooking. But my helper sent me a picture that I didn't post. So look at this, you guys. So this is what we had for lunch yesterday. Those are actually the ground chicken breasts, little sliders. We didn't eat them as sliders in gravy or anything. She just sauteed them in panko, and they were little crunchy, almost like cutlets. And I taught her how to take the vegetable peeler, and instead of grating the carrots, to make slices. It was so good. Butterroll said she will take this distill the sweetness out of sugar. That people do. People do. People do. I don't know why. I don't know why. I had last winter because I had a knee replacement and I couldn't go down there. Somebody went down there and cut down all my Swiss chard. I overwinter my my plants because in the spring in Connecticut they come back out. Cut down broccoli, still broccoli, all kinds of stuff. The echinacea I had out there because it was just a beautiful plant, a flower. Now echinacea is the same thing they make the medicine out of. The folks didn't know what the yarrow was or some of the other herbs I had out there, but they waited until I left the big pink flowers on the purple echinacea, or they call it cone flower, and they went out there and cut the tops off of each one of them. Huh? But let's don't talk about thieves. Let's talk about other stuff. So, as far as my indoor gardening, I can put one more harvest in my hydroponics before it's time to go back out. And I didn't have any more of those little cones that go down inside. I have an arrow garden and a couple of others. Oh, this isn't open, but the little sponge things that go in there. Ah, the little sponge things that go in there don't fit each one equally. They don't fit each one equally. Excuse me one minute, you guys, because I need the scissors because I want to cut something for you because we're going to do a craft. And I will bring two pairs of scissors. I'm being lazy today because it was raining. And I wanted to show you this without all the stuff falling out. So these are the sponges, especially for the arrow garden, because I bought some echinacea is cone flower, yes, PIA, and it comes in pink and purple. And they don't like a lot of water. They like kind of to be kind of dry. So do like black-eyed Susans, but they're just ornamental. So this is the cup for an arrow garden. And I paid too much for it, but I wanted what I wanted. And I got some more of their sponges and stuff. So I can grow some more stuff inside. Hey sis, my Renaissance grandma, how are you doing? Oh, that reminds me. That reminds me. I don't know if you guys have been having any trouble with mail being returned. Um, I don't know what's going on at the post office. They have folks that can't read English apparently. I sent something to my Renaissance grandma once and it was returned because it didn't have, I know her what does it say? They say her Mike, what is it when I call you Michael? What do you oh, your government name. I know her government name. I also know her male name. But if it's not exactly right, exactly correct, they return it. I sent a package out uh, for. Oh, Maria Graham, you did get your package today. Okay, that's good. That's good. They um, they look at one thing. They don't try to do any research. They put it in a box and then send it back. I was in 755 her live last night. She was painting, cute little painting, and she sent a package off to one of her members in December. It was just returned yesterday, February 2026. That is ridiculous. Oh, Joanne Stevens, it's 82 degrees, sissy. Go throw some seeds out there before I get there. I want to be eating something. I want to be eating some radishes. You done ate all the oranges and lemons. Didn't put any in the freezer for me. Maria Graham Darth X says he can direct sew everything at 85 degrees exactly. So, what I'm doing this year, I'm actually being kind of lazy, except what I want to use and my comfrey, I'm going to have to put it outside. It's it's going to be like the comfrey that ate my apartment. Those little things I had, the comfrey was this big, you guys. I up potted it and it had three leaves. One was dead and the other ones were just starting to come up. The roots are hanging out of the pots now. And I have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine giant leaves. Well, if I didn't think it would die, I would harvest all the leaves before I put it out there. I might do that anyway, because the purpose of me getting comfrey was to make some comfrey salve for an ouch me. Darth X says there's an address on his street similar to his house number and they get your mail. The same thing with Auntie Joanne. They deliver packages and she will look it up and Google it, call the people, and then there have been some funny exchanges about how did you get, even on her street. I won't go into detail, but people were like, well, how did you get my package? Well, how did your relative put my address on your package? So they had the correct name on it, but the wrong address. So they put the wrong address, which was my sister's, and left the package there. But she was honest and came and brought it across the street. We don't steal. That's one thing. My sister and I, we don't lie and we don't steal. And you can take that to the bank. So, what are we going to talk about today? I changed. Sissy said tomorrow she's going to be planting. So, I will be nagging her and bugging her about everything. Oh my goodness. ARD. I was just ringing the bell to ring the bell because I so appreciate all of you. Let me dance for you. Dance for you. Let me see. Yay! Woohoo! Woohoo! ARD, a big hug. A big hug for you. Thank you very much. Every little bit helps. Thank you. PIA saying thank you, ARD. Hi. Joanne Stevens saying ARD. Thank you. Hi. Everybody's saying thank you. You're awesome. You're all awesome. And you know what? Everything contributes in some kind of way, whether it's watch hours, whatever. Like me, I'm on a fixed income. If I have anything extra, my mother is in her well into her 90s. I'm going to try to do something for my family. I have grandchildren. I have great grandchildren. I have great great grandchildren. You know that I share with the community. Maria Graham said that I just sent her a package. It was just some fabric that was already cut up, already cut up. And I found when I go in different places, you guys, I have a lot of cubes inside this bookcase, and inside the cubes are fabrics. Well, like now they're covered up a little bit and different ones, so I can get to them sometimes. Yes, the money dance. Thank you, Sissy. And then sometimes I pull them out and actually look, see everything that's in them. I know what I have, and I know I don't buy a lot of fabric anymore. But what I have a vision of what I want my art to be. I wasn't able to upload it yet, but some of you have seen my studio. I had a 1,500 square foot studio on the second floor of my house that I moved out of a few years back. And I had 35 sewing machines. There's no room for this. I live in an apartment. I can't take care of this. That's why I have a helper. That's why I have a helper. Everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. And I heard a blue, like Dolores came in. I sent her a link earlier. But yes, so I appreciate everything. Bouger Prepper has been a VIP member for 8 months. That that helps so much. I can't tell you guys. So I was talking about belonging to other groups, other clubs. I cannot afford to belong to the members club of all of you that I love and cherish. But what I can do is listen to your commercials. I can, even if I can't chat in the chat, I can put you on my TV while I'm in here cooking, while my helper's here, while we're making noise, and I can't, be live or something, but I can do something to support the channel. Everybody can give a thumbs up, that's free. You can leave a comment, that's free. So I will be having a challenge. It will be a cooking challenge, Bouger, and it will be cooking, and preferably with a skillet. It will be a skillet challenge. And speaking of that, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So I sent out some other fabric. Um, I had Deb as the Pug Mama Quilter. Thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I was in your bushes the other day. If you saw, like, there's so many people there, and the thumbs up, but nobody was talking, that would be me, because I was cooking, making those things that I showed on the picture. My helper and I were talking, and nobody wants to be in somebody else's house all day while they're live on some social media. They're there to keep you company, to help you, and you're ignoring them. So we're cooking, we're chatting, we have cooking contests, challenges, who have made the best lasagna. She likes to arrange the food, take the pictures. And Sissy, I have her fix my plate for me because I got no respect for portion size. If it fits on the plate, it goes on the plate, and I eats it all. Yesterday we had oatmeal, and she said, "Well, no, I don't want any more." So I was like, "You're going to throw that away?" "I'm not throwing any food away." So I put the extra oatmeal in my bowl. Then I sat down to eat it, and I'm like, "I'm full. I don't want any more." So I told her, "You were right. Throw it away. Throw it away." So we laughed. Oh, you did see me in there for a minute? I was there. I was in the chat for a second, but I was there during your whole live. Ellen Campbell, thanks for coming, and welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm excited to show you guys something, because I had some fabric and I offered it to my helper. She has learned how to sew by hand. She When she was off for 2 weeks sick, she said she made one more pillow, the neck bone pillows, and she made hers by hand. So I found some blue fabric. It had like snowflakes on it. Ugly fabric. Maria Graham. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm gonna have to dance for you, sis. What? I'm a back. I won't turn the stove on. Yay. Okay, so woohoo! Thanks, you guys. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. I'm gonna have enough money to actually send this next gift out that we're getting ready to make right now, live in living color. So let me take a little swig. You guys have me talking, talking, talking. Deb S. the Pug Quilter saying hello. There is another lady named Brampton Garden. She's in Canada, and she has a pug. I have a dear friend, Alexis, who has a pug. I don't know anybody who loved their pugs more than y'all. You notice it's quiet in here today, you guys? Mr. Hershey's in my bedroom and I accidentally closed the door. My sister's going to say, "Oh, don't do that to Mr. Hershey. Leave him out here." When I'm in Arizona, he doesn't even come in my bedroom. My bedroom there is on the second floor and he's blind. So, and her stairs, her bottom floor is like 24 feet. Hey, sis, Miss Shirley OG, you up from your nap? I know you had a nap today. That we need a nap. We need a nap. So Hershey goes in Uncle Roscoe and Auntie Joanne's room. He's their dog for a month until I come back. So what I'm going to show you is the world's ugliest fabric. And sometimes I offer you guys, I'll open something and I say, "Oh, I'm not going to sew anything. I already have all these projects planned." And when I go live, I'm not just making up something so you guys can click in and watch me. I'm bringing you in on what I'm actually working on and going out the door. Some of you saw, like last winter, this whole sofa was filled up with neck bone pillows with neck bone pillows. No, Bouger, yours didn't go out in the mail yet. It's on the books next. Yours and our other friend. I'm not going to say her name on the air since she's not here, but there's two more pillows coming up. But I make them, you guys, as I can get them out the door. I make them and get them out the door. I just finished the birthdays. So anyway, I pulled out this tote with fabric in it. It was the ugliest fabric. It was this ugly. As you can see, it was Christmas fabric. Ah, but I have a friend who's an international quilter, and she says her name is Bonnie S. Hunter, and she says there's no such thing. And she's in North Carolina, where I used to live. We used to be in some of the same guild meetings. She said there's no such thing as ugly fabric. It's you just didn't cut it small enough. So I looked at this fabric and I cut it up. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on my lap so you could see it. I wear black a lot, you guys, not because I'm depressed. A lot of artists wear black. Painters, you see them at the beach, they have on a black top and a black bottom. It's because in art, you don't want your clothing to interfere with the colors you're envisioning. You don't want to get a reflection of your colors off of the light or something. So we take and we wear black. And it doesn't look like crazy with the quilts in back of me, with what other things are going on. So what I did was cut this fabric into first I cut them into 2.5 inch strips. Then I cut those in half with my rotary cutter. And so these are 1 1/4. Now, this is how I make my rag rugs. Also, how you can make hot pads. You can make whatever you want. And what you do is you crochet. So you crochet, and those of you who didn't know, this is a size P. Some of you say, "Oh, I have the blue hook." This green one, I used to get them one at a time in Joann's, like by 50 or 100 for the classes that I teach when I was teaching arts and craft classes. And since the you know what, I decided to bring myself in my apartamiento and teach online and save some of those germs for other people. So this green one is a size P and the blue one is a size Q. And whichever size you use, that's the size hoop you make, and that's how thick you will make whatever you're making. It just occurred to me. I'm going to show you guys something. So, whoop, I have to drop something else. It's not alive, is it? So, you see that Afghan on the back of the sofa? Well, that's crocheted. And I crocheted that with a Q hook. DKC Crafts, thanks for coming. And welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't remember seen you here before. I appreciate you, and I'm highlighting it so that I can get to meet you. By the way, you guys, if you are a content creator, put an exclamation mark GQUAT, and it will highlight your channel so that we can find each other. So that Afghan, oops, I moved away from it. Where are you? Okay. I made that in one weekend. And I made it with the big blue hook, the Q hook, and I crocheted, I can't see from here, either two or three thicknesses. I think that one was two thicknesses. It depends on what weight you're crocheting with. So that being said, I'm going to take the smaller hook out of here, and you see, how do I know it's a P&Q? Because it says it. I've also bought so many of them. If you're using the European measurements, it's there are 11.5 millimeters and 15 and 3/4 millimeters. So let me take this carefully out of here because I want to put it back. So when I put it with my oops, I ripped it. When I put it with my teaching tools, I can show you what size to get. And this one is by Boy. Boy. Okay. So I'm going to put this down so that you can see my little lappy lap and not my jeans. LGGG, love. Thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, the first thing I want to show you is how to crochet fabric. So when I make a crochet rug, I make the strips a little bit bigger. I have a special ruler and I make them 1.5 inches. This is 1 1/4 because I'm going to make a casserole pad. And at the end of this cook-off, when you're using this iron skillet, you'll have something to put it on when you take those hot cookies out of the oven. So what I want to show you today is how to connect. This is the width of the fabric. It looks like narrow width. I can tell 44-inch wide fabric. It's wider than this. But what I do is I take the two ends. I've already ironed it and folded it. You don't have to iron it if you don't want to, but it makes it easier to put together. So I have the two ends together. I won't be able to see the chat for a little second, but I want to show you guys how to connect this. And I fold it over, say, about 1 inch. Then I take my handy dandy scissors. These are way too big, but I can see them without my glasses or if they fall. So I make a little slit. I put a little slit in, right? And you can do these one at a time. I do them two at a time because it's faster, and I'll show you why. So I take this one and I open it up and I put it on my lap, and I already know that this hole is here. So then I pick up the next one and hold your questions for just 2 minutes, you guys, because I want to keep the camera on my lap. So then I fold the next one, and again, I make a little, like, half-inch slit, half inch, because you're cutting them together instead of one by one by one, right? Then, so now here's two strips with a split on each end. So you take the one in my left hand is going to be the beginning, I will say. You put the second strip that you're attaching on top of there. So you put it with the openings together, and then I hold it. I hold it so that it doesn't slip, and I take my pointer finger and I start the little loop and I pull the long end up. I've shown this before when I was doing the mylar and making the crocheted uh, rug for homeless people, and then you pull it tight, and then the two of these are connected. Hey, Dolores. Thanks for coming, Dee, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for getting me started today. So, you notice this one already has a hole in it because we just connected those two. So I'm going to show you just a couple more times, and then we are going to crochet. Why? Because I have a whole ball of it ready so that we can just crochet and I can show you what to do. So again, we're putting a 1/2 inch slit in both ends at the same time, opening it up. And you can leave the salvage woven edges on. It doesn't matter because all this is going to be crocheted together. And we're making one long piece. Then again, you put the new one on top of the one you already had. The new one always goes on the top. Then I open the hole with my finger. I take my pointer finger and push it through the hole. I push it through. Then I pull the long tail up through the center. Okay. So all this ugly fabric is going to be so beautiful. What it's going to end up is a mat that's all these colors. Now, I'm going to do it one more time, and this is for the last time. None of these have to be the same. You can cut them with scissors, the strips, or you can tear the fabric. When I made a couple of rag rugs, and they were like 8 feet by 10 feet. I left those were in the house in North Carolina that was sold. There were several of them in the bathroom. I made a lot of them, but I would go to the secondhand store and buy like an old sheet. I would dye them, PIA. I would dye them in the washing machine with Rit dye. Then I had a ruler. The ruler's still over there, and I would put um, a snip in the fabric every 1.5 inches, and then I would just tear it, tear it, tear it. PIA, if you have one of those old black enamel canning pots, you can put it in there to dye it. You can dye it. Who wants white? And so yeah, you want some white in a rug, but you could buy the Rit dye, like I said. Excuse me. You can tea dye it. You can boil a whole bunch of black tea. Fifi, thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. And you can boil it in that and put it on the clothesline. You can take the juice from beets, like you boil beets and cook them. You can use beet juice to dye stuff. You can dye with tea. You can go to Joann Fabrics or one of the other stores and you can buy something called tea dyed muslin. Actually, I have tea dyed muslin in one of those quilts I was working on over there. So, okay, we have this strip. I will attach it later. Why? Because we already have a roll of it. You made, what was wonky, sweetie? Your rug? Ellen? Tell me what was wonky, your rug? Because I can tell you what probably happened. Because you tend to get bigger on one side than the other. Or if you're making it a circular rug, I have some directions on crocheting rugs. And one of the famous YouTubers has a camper, and I gave them one of the rag rugs that I crocheted. So here's a fabric ball of thread. Turmeric. Oh gosh, yes. Turmeric will stain your hands, your lips, anything. It'll be like an orangey color. Any you can use any vegetable, any fruit. Any vegetable, any fruit that you like. Okay, so Mother I'm going to start, make a slip hook. Oh, your rug was wonky? And make a slip knot and chain one. So I'll hold my arms up as long as I possibly can. I I got 76-year-old rotator cuffs that are bad, you guys. Hudson, thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. Hudson is one of the people who buys the wheat berries I was talking about earlier, and she grinds her own flour for her baking. For her baking. So Jihad, put exclamation mark GQUAT, all of you content creators. So that was a chain one. I'm going to leave it loose. And like, if you're OCD-ish, you can kind of like roll this around to make it narrow if you want to. It's not necessary. This is going to be, this is not going to the Smithsonian. This is something to be enjoyed. Oh, that's another thing, you guys who are starting to make quilts. There are two types of quilts, basically. One is a functional quilt, and the others are kind of art quilts or exhibit quilts. Uh-oh. I see I missed a call at the door. I got my calls held. I was expecting a package today. Watch them come, not bang on the door, but we'll see what happens. Maybe a neighbor will let them in. So here's a single crochet. So since this is going to be a placemat, a hot pad, I'm going to make it about 12 inches wide. So that's one stitch, one stitch. Try not to hold it up so high. One, and I'll try to put the colored side. I like I like having a contrast with the light side and the dark side of the fabric. It just makes it interesting. But all these colors in here, for sure, will make it interesting. One, two, three, four, five. And I'm making the first row loose so I can get the crochet in the next one. 5, 6, 7. I'm putting that on the floor to roll everywhere. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's too narrow. I'm just eyeballing it. 15. Maybe I'll try 20 stitches. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Put a 1 in the chat, you guys, if you whoever crochets, so that if somebody's new starting to crochet, they know if they need help and they see you live or see you doing something, they can maybe come to you and get some help. So here's 20 stitches. That should be plenty wide enough. I'll make 1 for a turning stitch. Okay. Now this is where it sometimes goes, things get wonky. So when you turn, you go into the second stitch from the hook. See, here's where your hook is. There's a stitch there. Oh, so here's where the hook is, right? There's a stitch there. Then there's one. This is the second one. So I'm going to go in the second one and pull it up and make a single crochet. So I'm going to make this one with single crochets. So see Miss Shirley OG crochets, DKC crafts, LGG love, PIA, Campbell's. Hudson says she's no. This is a beginner project, and this is easy. This is easy. All this is going to do is be a row of single crochet. Now, if you want to make a rug, you can make your strips bigger. I make those 1.5 inches, and I make those often with the Q hook. Why? Because it'll make it thicker. It'll make it loftier, or you can do it flat. I I like my Afghans puffy, but I like my rugs flat. Why? Because I don't want to trip over and break my neck. I already fall. Not funny. I fell 2 weeks ago, fell twice. So I'm gonna put this down so you can see my lap and I can save my rotator cuffs and don't have to put this up so high. So we're going to single crochet across this row, and then like when you don't have a lot of stitches going across, see there's one of our little connection points there already. I when I make my rag rugs, it takes like 9 inches of fabric with that big hook to make one stitch. This takes a lot of fabric, y'all. So since I had this ugly fabric, I said, well, this will be colorful. It will make a really nice mat and it will have a lot of colors. As soon as I finish this row, I will show it to you guys. It's a little bit awkward. I actually crochet pretty fast. My mother crochets lightning fast. Lightning fast. Mother, I'm going to crochet something with you when I come to your house on Sunday because I want to show you something. Auntie Joanne knows how to crochet. She doesn't want to crochet anymore. She likes doing other things and she's so good at them. Oh, you should see her sketches. Sometimes she has a bathroom outside of her studio at her house. And when I'm downstairs on the first floor, sometimes I go in there just because she has a basket with all these sketches that she's done during the day, or she'll take them in and not leave them in the den and make a mess like I do all over her house. So you guys, I can't see the chat. Just give me 1 second. And because I want to show you how I do at least the second row, because you can go in the front stitch or go through both stitches, and I want to show you the difference. So here, oops, I thought I was at the end. I'm not. I have one more, and it doesn't matter how wide. I'm just picking a number to say how wide I want it. But this is going to be a hot pad for putting the hot skillet on, and somebody is going to win it. Now I'm at the end. Now I'm tightening. Now I'm pulling that first stitch tight so it won't come loose. How many inches wide did I cut? These, okay, what I did is, and this will make it easier because a lot of you buy jelly rolls. A lot of you, somebody said you just start but never finish. A lot of you, and the reason I chose the size is because you can buy jelly rolls. You can buy used jelly rolls. See, that ugly fabric actually looks cute in here, doesn't it? Doesn't it? How many of you would like to win this? Put a 2 in the chat. It's not going to be today. It's going to be on the 29th. And it's going to be extra wide for any casserole pad. You can put it on your lap if you like to go outside in the summertime and put your laptop on your lap and chat. You'll try your looser grip and stitch. Well, the very first row, the chains should be loose. You mean the first? Uh, oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. I have a note uh, from Dolores, and I'm having a challenge for the month of February. And on the 29th, I'm having a challenge for the month of March. February only has 28 days. So for the 1st of March, which will be Saturday, I will give you all the instructions, and because it will be a baking contest and cooking with an iron skillet. Now, an iron skillet, as you know, you can cook, and the challenge will be you can cook indoors, you can cook outdoors, you can cook on top of the stove, you can cook in the oven. You just have to use an iron skillet. Okay? PIA said she would not turn down this gift. Campbell's would not turn it down. And um, Google is telling me a device was added to my account. When I was trying to get in here on the iPad, I don't use the iPad anymore. You will make more of them. So see, this is pretty dense, and it will keep the hot skillet off of your counters. So now I'm gonna look down. So to answer your question, a jelly roll, when you buy them, is 2.5 inches. So you can buy used ones. You can tear the fabric, but if you tear it, honestly, it makes a lot of raveling and a lot of strings. So I cut these with my rotary cutter, and first I cut them into 2.5 inch strips. I think I had about a yard and a half or 2 yards of this ugly fabric, and but I use all my fabric, ugly or not, and I took the 2.5 inch strip, and then I cut that in half. So here goes Auntie Ellen with her math. I actually like math. I like math, and it's easy for me. It's like a game. Like some of you play, games online, other stuff. I play math in my head, figuring it out. Then I'll get my calculator sometime and see if I was right when I'm multiplying those numbers and carrying the one, the old-fashioned way. So okay, let's put one more row or a couple rows, because this the large casserole dishes are only the large casserole dishes. You don't have to see my face. I want you to see my hands. And I put this on my lap so it wouldn't clash with all these colors. This animal print, this, that. So that's why you see this on the side of my sewing machine a lot, so that if I'm showing you guys something, you can see the contrast. So let me see. Did I do my chain stitch? No, didn't do it yet. Okay, so I'm going to chain one, and I'm going in so I chain one. This is the first stitch away from the hoop. I'm going in the second stitch of the hoop. So I'm just to show you guys, I'm going to go through both hoops. Yes, Campbell, 1.25 inches. Yes. So I'm going to go through both. When I say go both, this is the top of a crochet stitch. You see one, two. You see two sides of it. I'm going through both of them for this row, and I'll show you the difference. The next row, I will go through one, and it'll make it like a ridge. So if you can't see where your fingers go, because I'm going through two of them, because I'm going through two of them, even if I'm not looking, I'm in the chatting with you all, I just can stick my crochet hook through where both spaces are. When you're doing it through the top one, you have to tilt it a little bit so that you can see it. And this is going to go really fast. And each row is about maybe 3/4 of an inch. So it won't take long. The average casserole pad, the average casserole dish is, the big one is 9 by 13 inches. So this will well be bigger than that. And let me hold it this way. And you could use it for a laptop pad, and these little spaces will let it breathe on your lap and let some of the heat out so that your device doesn't overheat. Okay. I can't see the chat. I'm breathing 1 second. 1 second. We're going to do this little row because I thought this ugly fabric would make such a nice, colorful little casserole pad, a hot pad. And you see how thick it is. I'll hold it up in a second and show you. So this won't. I have an antique butcher block in my kitchen, and my butcher block is a couple 100 years old, and I love that thing. But it's supposed to look like it's a couple 100 years old. I took the top from my iron skillet one day, or not the top from my iron skillet, my Dutch oven, and I put it up there and it left a burn mark. So now I'm at the end of the row, and see, this is where when you're crocheting, it gets kind of fuzzy. It's kind of hard to see. So when you get to the end, you see the next to the last stitch, you can stick your finger all the way through it. See? So the very next stitch, even though you can't see it, if you get both hoops, you can stick your finger through it. So you stick your finger through it, and that holds your space. If it's something tiny, no, your finger won't go through it, but you can stick your crochet hook through there. So I'm going through both hoops. I did the last stitch. I'm going to pull it up just a little bit, and I make a single crochet, and I turn. Now, when you crochet in this manner, you see the end? It kind of makes a straight, oops, trying to show. Maybe if I do it this way. Hold on. You say it's beautiful. So I'll hold it up so that you can see it's actually coming square. You see Ellen Campbell? If you go to the second hoop from your needle, then it'll kind of stay straight. Do any of you have any questions? Because I'm going to do one more row, and that is to show you how it looks if I go into only one part of the stitch. The stitch has two loops on the top, right? So this next time I'm going to go in, but I'm going to go in, and you're off work, so you feel good, LGG love. So I'm going to go in the back hook, and that's going to make, well, so this is going to make the end flat, but the next row will make it kind of wavy, so it's like a waffly edge. Wait a minute, I lost my stitches. So there's one, two. So there's the second one. Me, I like, for this particular thing that I'm making, I like going through both loops. Why? Because I can feel them before I get to it, and it goes faster. I can stick my finger into the next hole I'm going to crochet in and not have to reach like and pull for it because it's tight in the back. But it makes a cute little wavy, waffly pattern, and it might make the waffling will make it thicker so that the heat from your iron skillet is further away from your countertop. You think you lost count along the way? You lose count track along the way. But what you do is, and if it's already lopsided, it doesn't matter. Whoever you give it to is going to love it because it was a gift from you and you gave it to him from the goodness of your heart. Oh, I'll tell you a funny story. Mother! So I was teaching my mother how to make something, but this time we were knitting. And I was showing her how to make a knitted dishcloth, right? And I was making it on a diagonal. And so you're increasing the way up, coming down. When you're decreasing, you're minusing a stitch. So when she was decreasing it, I don't know what happened. She forgot to do the yarn over or something, and it was getting longer. It was lopsided. So she was in her bedroom. She was up all night making this dishcloth, and it was crooked. You know what her daughter did? The good daughter. I ripped her whole thing out. I ripped it out. She looked at me. She said, "You ripped it out." Yes, I ripped it out, mother. Now we're going to start all over again. I know she wanted to choke her, the good daughter. I know she did. Mother, do you remember that? We were down North Carolina doing stuff together. When I was at the homestead in North Carolina, mom would come down, sometimes spend 6 weeks at a time, 8 weeks. I had a good sized garden. It might have been like a quarter of an acre. It was big. I had two chicken coops inside there. I had ducks in there, goats, everything. And but it was just a fun garden. There were real farmers that sold to grocery trains that lived all around me out there in the country. And we would go by their farms, by their houses. They would let us pick stuff and not even charge us. It was just like friends and sharing. Like if my friends came over, they can go to my garden and pick what they want and take it home. And I share. I just don't like people taking my stuff without asking, especially if they don't know me. So I'm going to show you the difference between these two rows. And here's something that you can crochet at night. You don't have to worry about putting your glasses on. So now we're at the end of the row, right? You see how, let me see if I can show you. You see how the first row, I'll show you, was flat. The second row is up. It's like a row of groceries. You can almost see where it's folded. So it's going to go up and down like a wave. You, I did do that. GQUAT, you enjoy the lives? Oh, thank you. I hope you like visiting with a friend. So another thing I do to keep it from rolling up at the end, remember I told you the last stitch, you if you're not sure where it is, you can stick your finger through it. You can usually find one end but not the other. Even though I'm making this waffly, the first stitch and the last stitch, I'm going to go through both loops because I want that part to be flat. So see? So the rest of this, I'm going to make it wavy because that'll make it real puffy. And it's going to be all these bright colors. It might not match anything in your house, but it'll be nice and it will keep your skillet from burning the counter. And like I said, I'm going to give you the recipe. The recipe. Oh, actually, I'll do it right now. Oh, see, I know where everything in this house is. When I was legally blind, I couldn't see it. I had to kind of memorize where stuff was, and I'm OCD-ish. It would drive me crazy when people would put stuff where I couldn't find it, or in the refrigerator. I have to put all the labels around. So I'm not putting cinnamon or in the cat. So I'm not putting cinnamon in my food instead of black pepper. Have I done it? Oh heck yeah. Okay, so here's my recipe book, and uh-oh, I dropped it on the floor. I dropped it. Oh, that was the shrimp scampi. Well, if I don't see it in the next couple seconds, I'll just show it to you on Saturday. Oh, I remember where I put it. I remember. Thank you. I remember I put it. I put it in one of these plastic sleeves back here. And by the way, you can make any recipe a a into a cookie. Like you have cookies, you don't have to make them into cookies. You can smear them in the bottom of the pan and make it like just one unit. So I'm looking, here's blueberry cobbler, the Southern Easy Way, apple cake, bougie prepper. You know I bake an apple cake, girlfriend. You can bake your apple cake in the skillet. Okay, carrot cake, cupcakes, banana bread. Auntie's apple cake again, chow chow. I know I put it in the top of one of these plastic things. There's Southern Chow Chow again. Well, if not, I was going to rewrite it anyway. Oh, here you are. I'm only partially crazy. I do. When I'm not tired, I can remember. You remember fussing at your sister and granddaughter about rearranging your kitchen and can't find Jack. That's what I find when I cook in other kitchens. My sister has a big kitchen. I have a tiny kitchen. I spend most of my time cooking, walking around, looking for it. And then when the family gathers there, there are a lot of people. So if I cook, somebody else washes dishes, somebody else puts them away. So things just get moved around. Except when I come there, I'm a hurricane. Barb Brownlee, hello, hello, hello. So I want to hold this up because this is what I will be making on Saturday, March 1st. You can screenshot it if you want to. I will hold it up. I will read it. Oh, actually, after my live last Saturday, Dolores helped me. I did post it. My computer might go dead any second, you guys. But I will go ahead. I bring it every day. Kelly, thanks for coming. So we will be making a skillet chocolate chip cookie. And down there, I had to white it out. I put 1 cup of chocolate chip cookies. It's 1 cup of chocolate chips. And it's baking soda. I put baking powder in accidentally, but the cookie was still jamming. So now it's time to say goodbye to all our lovely friends before I get kicked off in American Sign Language. I love you, Mother. This is an I. This is an L. This is a U. Dolores said we put the recipe on the post section when I cook. So if you have your stuff ready and out and you want to cook along with me on Saturday, the cookie only takes a minute. Oh, and guess what? I kept opening the door every 5 seconds. That kept letting the heat out. That's why it took long to cook. And I didn't use my black skillet that keeps it warm. Deb S. the Puck Cooler is saying hi. Thanks, everybody. Mother, see you Sunday. Love you guys. Actually, I'll see you Saturday, Mother, here live. And yeah, I was singing Mickey Mouse. And yeah. Oh, let me do my outro. I have an outro, you guys. Love you. Okay.